Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to a very different one actually. I know it's been a while since I posted one. I've been quite busy over the past couple of months to be honest, and seeing how the league season is coming to an end already. I just didn't really feel that there was a need to talk too much about things. Obviously, a lot of things have happened. The Premier League season has come to an end as of recording. I'm actually recording this after literally just after Man City have signed Aït-Nouri from Wolves. Um, Lots of things to talk about, obviously, when the season starts to settle itself again, when the new season comes about. I'm still waiting for the transfer window to end. Once the transfer window is about to close, that's when I'll probably do my Premier League predictions. And then from then, instead of talking about the Premier League as a whole moving forward, I'm probably going to base a lot more just basing on Man City, to be honest. So the crux of this video is actually to have a very, very quick review of how I felt the seasons went for Man City, and for me to give you some of my honest thoughts. Now, obviously, some things I probably would have forgotten, to be honest, but I'm completely fine with that. It is just some, I guess, a little bit of a memory refresher, to be honest. And of course, I think you can see on the screen right now, the site I've opted to get all my information is obviously Wikipedia. It's fine with me, to be honest. It honestly, in my opinion, it gives a very good summary of what has happened throughout the entirety of the season. If there's anything I can somehow remember, I would do so. But we'll just, really go through this site as briefly as we can. Certain things we need to be talked in detail, we would do so. Generally, want to cover the summary, of course, of the season, how the first team players have played, injuries, how did that sort of impact us, competitions-wise, how do we do, how do we fare, some level of statistics, some level of awards, and how do I feel coming to next season. So drop a like on the video, guys. Hopefully you enjoy this one, to be honest. I know it's very different, but hopefully it's something that you would enjoy too. But yeah, drop a like on the video, and let's dive right in. Right, so obviously over here you're able to see where we have finished. Now, third in the Premier League, I think generally is not really bad of a season. I think if we look at that in that sort of manner, considering we had that really big wobbly stint in December, and that was when obviously this channel started to come about. And during that period of time, I think it was very, very difficult for us because in all competitions we were just diabolical, really, and just a terrible season, to be honest. I'm not happy with it at all. But obviously towards the tail end, we started to pick it up a little, but definitely this season's Man City was definitely not the Man City we've all been used to. Whether you're a neutral fan, whether you hate Man City or not, you are fully aware that the City that we've seen this season is definitely not the City that we've seen for the past 4 years straight. You were during the 4 years you had players coming in, players leaving. It definitely didn't feel like it was a club that we're going to dominate at all. Even in games when we were dominating possession, we were not creative enough, and that was really, really evident in a lot of the games. Could we argue Rodri's absence has really killed us this season? I genuinely would like to think so, right? He's a Ballon d'Or winner, and there was a lot of, stick onto that. But yes, I think Rodri has definitely impacted the way that we could have played. I think the versatility of Rodri, how agile he is in general, how much of a player he can be as for the club, that in itself, has really, really changed the complexity of the season, how it probably could have went. Now with Rodri back, that's fantastic. Huge reboot is obviously needed, to be honest. I think considering that I don't even think we spent that much in the summer, and I think even January there was really, really little coming in. So considering that, considering we offloaded Cole Palmer, considering we offloaded Alvarez, I think that thus far to say it's not the end of the world. Considering all the things that have happened this season, I think third in the Premier League was probably the best we could have achieved. We genuinely could have gotten second had we been a lot more critical in the way that we played towards the tail end of the season. But of course, that had to be the expense of Arsenal really not doing well, and obviously he did. They did some bottling towards the end too. Lucky to finish second, but of course, I think from Arsenal's perspective, to finish second for 3 years straight, that's really not good for them. But I'm not gonna look into that. I'm just gonna look at Man City, of course. So third in the Prem, considering the form we had midway through the season, we just got to take it, to be honest. Now moving on to the FA Cup. Now, of course, this one, I think that was the only opportunity for us to really get some decent piece of silverware, and I was ecstatic, to be honest. And prior to the game, I think a lot of people were saying that, oh my God, Man City, despite having such a bad season, they've still found themselves in the final of the FA Cup, right? If looking at the top six in general, you've got Liverpool winning the league, you've got Chelsea winning the Conference League, we've got Tottenham somehow, ironically, winning the Europa League. We've got Man United somehow reaching the final of the Europa League. You've got Man City reaching the final in the FA Cup, and obviously Arsenal second in the Premier League was the best achievement they've got. But, you know, for City to face, honestly, yes, quite a really, really good Crystal Palace side, I felt like we should have still taken our chances a lot more seriously, and we honestly should have won the game, whatever the circumstance might be. You know, it's it's our third consecutive final in the FA Cup, which kudos to the team for doing that, of course. But now to lose two finals in a row in the FA Cup, that in itself also creates concern. Like, you know, against Man United, sure, you know, we've beaten them once, we lost to them last year, fair enough. Oh, you know, albeit I think even then, that season we've lost to Man United, we honestly should have done better than that. The way that we played was clearly not good enough. This one against Palace, it felt like the same again. I'm not exactly too sure why this has happened, but definitely, you know, we genuinely should have, you know, beaten Palace. Of course, I think along the way we probably could have matched Liverpool, as in we needed to play Liverpool had them, you know, had they beaten Plymouth Argyle, but obviously then they beat Plymouth and then we got Plymouth, so because of that, you know, we managed to progress from there. Of course, I think our route to the FA Cup, I just really want to look at it very, very, very quickly here. FA Cup. Yeah, so Salford 8-0 was very dominating. Obviously, 2-1 against Leyton Orient was a little bit problematic there. But 3-0 against Plymouth, when they win 1-0 up 2. Beat Bournemouth, then we beat Nottingham, which honestly, I think the match against Nottingham really sort of gave me some level of confidence in the club again because we played really, really well that game. Of course, I think there were really huge chances for Nottingham. They probably could have find themselves back into the game. But nonetheless, it was good. You know, it gave me some level of confidence, I would say, a higher level of confidence, because Bournemouth and Nottingham were really, really good this season. So to face them and to, you know, really, really, really beat them was fantastic. But Palace just, yep, no comments on that anymore. But with that being said, you know, it is what it is. You know, the finals are already over, as I've said, and you know, can look forward to next season. But at least, you know, Champions League, third place finish, I'm really happy with that. Now, in the EFL Cup, of course, only the fourth round, and I really loved the days when we won it 4 times in a row, the EFL Cup. It was remarkable, to be honest, considering how we were so good in this competition, and just lately in these few years, we just absolutely lost it. Again, very quickly to look at where we lost, this was a start, really, against Tottenham here. The moment this loss happened, yeah, it kick-started essentially the bad form that we were going to endure for the rest of the year, genuinely, to be honest. It was that, and then I think a defeat to Brighton or something like that, and Sporting, or whoever it was. Yeah, Tottenham really, really kick-started it, and I think after that we played them, we lost 4-0 as well at home, which was one of the worst home defeats I think we've had the entirety of the season. Is that true? Did they say up here? Any chance? There you go. Yeah. 4-0 defeat at home to Tottenham, 23rd of November, followed by a 5-1 loss to Arsenal. I remember watching this game too. That was just horrible. I think that 5-1 loss against Arsenal definitely suggested to me that we're never going to win the title this year. And it could just be a one-off game, but to have a one-off game of that sort of caliber, yeah, we were done for, to be honest. But it is what it is ultimately. Things have happened as well, and that was definitely evidently a very, very poor EFL Cup run from us. Now, we did win the FA Community Shield, of course, and, well, I think for 3 to 4 seasons straight now, the winners of the Community Shield actually do not win the Premier League for that particular season. So, I don't know if it's going to be true again, but Liverpool against Palace, I think, for the Community Shield coming into next season. If Liverpool win, they might not be able to win the league next season. So we'll see if that remains the same. But who knows, right? Now, Champions League, of course, we lost to Real Madrid in the, what do you call, the knockout phase, playoffs and things like that. Now, am I a fan of the new format? Even seeing City losing out after the knockout phase playoffs. Yes, actually. Now, at the very start, I was a huge critique of it. I hated it so much. I was just like, why couldn't we stick to something that we were so comfortable with? And then in my head, I was just thinking, if we were so comfortable with the original format, which has proven to be very effective in the past couple of years already, or so many years actually, why didn't we just stick to that? Well, after seeing this, see Paris Saint-Germain winning the Champions League despite finishing 15th, it goes to show how much of a consistency you need as a team to literally pull yourself together, to bring yourself to the final, and then win the final subsequently. this to me has shown it definitely. We in like we City's form in the group stage, right? I think it likens to what Paris have done to a large extent. We could have done the same. Like City could have just emulated this again next season. But if we have a very very good knockout run, for example, and somehow we knockout phase playoffs, we face a really easy team, we win stuff like that. Just the level of luck to get ourselves up, progress in any way that could still happen, right? So, in my opinion, this new format just creates a lot of uncertainty where no one could obviously predict who's going to win. And I think it will be the same for next season, which I think that's fantastic. Now, looking back to Man City and the performances, we've had Milan, we've had Slovan, we've had Prague, Sparta Prague, we had Sporting, Feyenoord, Juve, Paris, the eventual winners, obviously, and Club Brugge. Now, the 0-0 draw in Milan, sure, fair enough. I mean, the group stage to face the two finalists, that was going to be very difficult to begin with. I'm looking in hindsight, I mean. Milan, pretty good team. To get a 0-0 draw at the start, fair enough, right? And then after that, to beat Slovan, I think was quite expected. Beating Sparta was quite expected. And obviously, that loss against Sporting, Amarin, Andrew coming to Manchester United after that. But that was, I think the epitome of how bad the form been during that stint. I think Haaland even missed a penalty. 2-1, genuinely. And Haaland scored, it'd been 2-2. Things could have been a lot different, but to lose 4-1, it is what it is. Feyenoord 3-0 up, and then to concede 3 in the last 20 minutes or so. Typical Manchester City fashion for this season, to be honest. A lot of bottling has been done already. 2-0 loss to Juve, which honestly I think that was disappointing, to be honest. The 4-2 loss against Paris just showed how good Paris have been this season. They have been absolutely impeccable. The players, team, everything just gelled massively for them this season, and they've taken it to perfection. Obviously, the win against Club Brugge meant that we were in the knockout phase playoffs, and obviously facing Real Madrid, again, too much for us to handle. With Madrid, we've had enough, seeing them in the Champions League. We've smashed them before, they've smashed us this time. A lot of times this has happened already, so it's quite a ding-dong battle between us and Madrid. If we face them again in the Champions League, I've got no comments on that, to be honest, so we'll see what happens with that one. But obviously a very disappointing season, a campaign, sorry, in the Champions League, considering where we finished, 3-2-3 in terms of the record. It is what it is at the end of the day. So we just got to move on, ultimately, and just look forward to next season, really, to see how we're going to perform. I do hope it could be better, of course. And the FIFA Club World Cup, with Wydad, Al Ain, and Juventus in the group stages. I really don't know how I'm going to pan out. But to be honest, do I really care about this? Not really. What I think this is good for us as a club is, with the new signings coming in, and should they be able to play, it gives Pep an idea of what's a good way to play the team next season. And that to me is very important. We need to really regroup as a team, and figure out ways to get back to winning ways. Of course, I want them to win the league again next season. Of course, I want them to be competitive in every single competition. But honestly speaking, it's going to be, again, very, very difficult because of the level of consistency that's being required from the club itself. But as always, I would always back the club to do as best as they can. But yeah, so the FIFA Club World Cup obviously hasn't been played. I wish them all the best, and I do hope things are going to work out for them. Right, now let's have a look at the transfers in general. I think this was pretty much the reason why I felt that maybe this season we weren't at our best. And considering, all the charges that were coming our way, I think this was the best that we probably could have done. So, Savini coming from Troyes, I think this was already meant to happen before the season even started. So, £21 million for him. How did Savini perform this season? Quite okay, to be honest. Not the worst, not the best. There was some levels of, spark. In some ways as well, I think emulated Mahrez a lot, but we still need more from him, to be honest. His dribbling is very, very good, but he just needs more of that oomph, to push himself further up and to perform better as a player. But again, he's still very, very young, so plenty of time to grow. Hopefully next season we would see a much better side of him. Gundogan's back from Barcelona. Now, at the very start of the season, when I knew he was coming back, I was ecstatic because he was so influential for us. Throughout the entirety of the seasons that he won the Premier League, the Champions League with us. But that being said, I think this season really showed that he's aging. He's probably reaching his peak already. Probably has already been past his peak. This season hasn't been the good one that we were so used to the point. I think he's there for the experience for sure. Pretty good squad player that City needs to have. But I doubt that we're going to see much of him anymore next season moving forward. And I know it's not going to be easy, but it is what it is at the end of the day. So we're going to see what's going to happen with him coming into next season. But, you know, with hopefully Reinders coming in again, as I said, from Milan, I'm pretty sure he's going to be replaced. Kovacic is already being pretty decent in general, so we could see Gundogan becoming more of a fringe player and probably would leave the club again. But nonetheless, he's been fantastic for us, so I love Gundogan still, even when he's not at his best, because he was genuinely one of the best players that we've had during his time with us, and I think was the first signing of Pep Guardiola as well. So, I mean, at Man City, so you can't ask for much really at this point, especially considering it's a free transfer as well. So yeah. Divin Mubama, I've honestly no clue who this player is, and as you can tell, places for the under 21, so he's definitely relatively young. 2 million. We'll see what happens really with him, see whether he's going to climb up the ranks, see if he's going to be like another Cole Palmer, come in and then leave subsequently. I'm not too sure. Speaking of Cole Palmer, Delap, obviously from Man City moving to Ipswich and then going to Chelsea, same idea, carrying the number 9 as well. We'll see what happens with Delap. Will he be better than Jackson? I don't know. The number 9 curse at Chelsea has been having with that number 9. I'm not too sure about that. But anyways, Abdulkadir Kusanov. Now, obviously, a lot of fans have been asking why Kusanov has not been playing as much. Now, I think there was a clause in his contract that if he were to play minimally 10 games, then something will happen, like you've got to pay a certain amount, stuff like that, to Lons or something like that. I'm not exactly too sure what. But basically, in a nutshell, he couldn't play to prevent additional costs to Man City. He could only play 9 games, which is the maximum. So during the 9 games that he's played, fantastic from us. I'm really glad I've got him in. And obviously, congratulations as well to Uzbekistan for qualifying for the World Cup on the first time of asking for this time around. So, you know, fantastic. I am very much looking forward to Kusanov. Imagine Kusanov, Diaz, Ake, Stones. I think centre-back wise, we are probably pretty decent. I think Kusanov and Diaz, these partnership here, I'm very, very much looking forward to that. Victor Rice for Palmares, again, another centre-back as well. Forgot to add him in. He's obviously not played much this season as well. Hopefully, there will be more signs of him moving forward. Yeah, as I said, you know, I'm genuinely very glad we've got 2 very, very young centre-backs here to really push the team forward. I think this is exactly what we need. I'm just happy this has happened. So we'll see what happens with these 2 next season, but I'm really looking forward to see, you know, these fresh young blood coming up and really doing it for us. We do need to be a lot better defensively, because this season the reason why we've been so bad, I think, is honestly thanks to our defensive woes. So this is definitely something that, you know, the club needs to look into. Obviously, Omar Mamouche, very happy, to be honest, to have this guy in, and he won goal of the season as well. He's been fantastic, honestly. £59 million. Of course, could be more from him, but considering that he has, I think, genuinely really adapted really, really nicely. So I'm pleased to see Marmouche here. I'm pleased. I've got nothing more to say. I really hope he's going to be much better next season. He is really what we need, you know, to somehow replace Kevin De Bruyne. We do need someone like him, where we need his creativity, we need his, you know, centre forward sort of mentality. We need that. Phil Foden has not been good this season at all, evidently, and to fill in the shoes of Kevin De Bruyne is definitely not going to be easy either. So with Marmouche filling in that role, I think it's going to be possible. But that being said, do we still need attacking reinforcements? I definitely think so. To just rely on Haaland, I'm not too sure about that. Oscar Bob is back, but at the same time, probably needs some time for him to pick up pace again. So hopefully, you know, even this transfer window, we do have, you know, forward plays coming in. But I'm not too sure about that, what Pep's obviously thinking, because as I said, you can't just rely on Erling Haaland. I mean, it's having a very bad season, even like this one, he's doing really well, but the man is injured, things like that, things will really, really turn on its head. So, but that means that Marmouche, 100% definitely the signing of the season, 100%. Farlan, this one for the academy. Juma Bar, I know he's coming in January, but I'm not exactly too sure where he's going to fit in, and yeah, I think I don't know if he's going to be, you know, performing, or sorry, I don't even know if he's going to be starring out the season. So I'm just not too sure about Jim Bar, but again, very, very young, so something we obviously can look forward to. Nico Gonzalez, him and what's his name again? Rodri. Yeah, hopefully these two will definitely do extremely well. With Reinders as well coming in, I think the midfield is actually pretty stacked, and especially midfield, defensive midfielder or trusted midfielder. I think we are quite good already once Reinders comes in as well. And obviously transfers out. Tommy Doyle to Wolverhampton Wanderers, Howard Bellis to Southampton. This was already known from the very start. They were fringe players from the beginning. So yeah, but Howard Bellis, I think he's done reasonably well for Southampton this season. Obviously, they got relegated, but it is what it is. Sarmiento, this one I have no clue who he is. From Fiorini either, because I mean they all come from the academy. Sergio Gomez to Real Sociedad, not really a huge miss, to be honest. It is what it is at the end of the day. Sergio Gomez, I just don't think he really performed up to the level that we are hoping him to do so. Doing better at Sociedad in my opinion, but it is what it is at the end of the day. Liam Delap, as I mentioned, yeah, moved to Ipswich for one season and now he's at Chelsea, so quite a journey he's on. Robertson and Hamilton here from the academy, Ben Knight as well from the academy. Now Alvarez was the big one, obviously, as I mentioned, to leave to Atletico Madrid. This was big from us when we needed someone to be a really good backup for Haaland. And I think to lose Alvarez was huge for us, but at the same time, I think it was the right decision in hindsight. He's done really well for Atletico. I think he should be very happy himself, for being in that position to, really perform decently with Atletico. Looking forward to see what he can do in the next couple of seasons. But of course, Alvarez was a really influential player from us. He obviously is not as clinical as Haaland, but when we needed him to do something, he managed to do so. So I think for £81 million, this was one of the key reasons why the sales amount, £158 million, pretty much half or more than half came from Alvarez's sale. So that was really, really much needed. Kane Taylor, I'm not too sure about him now. Joao Cancelo, him moving to Al Hilal again, I think he sort of fell out with the team or Pep in general. It is what it is. I've nothing much to say about Joao, but again, don't get me wrong, Joao was a very, very good player for us when he was there. But things have happened, and things change, and of course, he left the club. The rest of the players over here are rather, again, fringe, rather academy players. Now obviously loaned out. Not too much, nothing too crazy. Obviously, Yan Kuto. Looking forward to see what he can do from us if he's going to come back to play. But otherwise, I think the key players are definitely Calvin Phillips. He's probably going to leave in January. In January in the season as well. I just don't see him being any more influential in the team. He's definitely one of the flop signings that Pep has made, but maybe also got to do with how Phillips probably just doesn't suit the style eventually. When you've got to understand that when Pep's got to make some changes along the way throughout the years, and maybe Calvin Phillips just didn't really suit the team. So it is what it is with Calvin Phillips. I'm not exactly too sure, but don't get me wrong, he was very, very good at Leeds. Maximo Perrone, I would love to see him play for us. He honestly looks like quite bright of a talent playing at Como. Played at Como for the season, and he was really, really good, to be honest. Keiki, I mean, he's back, but I'm not sure. If he's gonna again star for us anytime soon. Iskabore, same thing with him. I'm not exactly too sure if he's gonna play for us at any point in time. Obviously Kyle Walker was the big name, right? When he went to AC Milan. Is he gonna play for us again? I'm genuinely not too sure either. Kyle Walker. But of course, when he was with us, still obviously a very, very good player. But again, because of his aging, it's going to be very difficult moving forward. Driven bars I've already mentioned. So yeah, that and obviously released. Not really of my concern. A new contract, Stefan Ortega and Erling Haaland. Yeah, I mean Erling Haaland's contract was obviously one of the key highlights when it comes to retaining our players. So that's it really for the transfers. So now, obviously, again, looking back at the Premier League side of things, you can see over here in the first 9 games, we done extremely, extremely well. To be honest, to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 wins in the first 9, right? And obviously then to lose 4 in a row, which was remarkable, honestly, for Man City standards. And then after that, it was a lot of nonsense over here. A couple of losses along the way. But this tail end of the season was honestly the reason why we found ourselves back in the top 4. In the last 9 games of the season, you've only had 2 draws. So that was the reason why, really. But this bit here was the reason why we've crumbled so much. Now, if you think about it, had we convert these 4 losses into wins, just saying that, right, we would have been extra 12 points, which put us at 83. And I'm quite sure one of the losses against Liverpool as well. So we could have won the season, just, turning these 4 losses into wins. Just saying right now. But it is what it is ultimately. Things do happen in the Premier League season. Its unpredictability this season was mad, considering how everything has happened. Now, obviously, at home, to win 13 is really, really good. I think 13 of 18, great. Our away form was the answer, really, to our problems, in terms of why we just weren't performing. So it is what it is ultimately. That will be it for the competitions. Now let's head over to the statistics. Now, oh my god, okay, this is very crazy to look at. So first of all, appearance-wise, Josko Gvardio made the most number of appearances, which, honestly speaking, great. Okay, maybe this is not the right window to look at. Maybe if you hit total, there you go. Right, still, Josko Gvardio, he was really, really good this season. 5 goals in the Premier League, 1 goal in the FA Cup. I'm quite pleased with him, to be honest, this season. His performance, he's very, very lively, really, really good on the header as well. To hit the ball every time to the back of the net, or at least really, really threaten the goalkeeper. So he's been really, really good. Ilkay Gundogan here with somehow arguably our next most number of appearances. But as I mentioned, has he been the player that we're used to seeing? Unfortunately not. So hopefully, I mean, I don't see him going to be very fantastic again moving forward, but hopefully, he would be a very influential player for us, experience-wise, fresh legs off the bench or anything like that. So he's definitely still very vital for us, but where does he stand in Pep's plans? I have no clue. Bernardo Silva arguably played 49 games as well this season. Really, really interesting. But of course, Bernardo, again, sometimes he's performed, most times not really either. So, but I think he's still a really influential player for us, don't get me wrong, when he's been with us for about 6-7 years as well, and he's done really, really well. So I still love Bernardo, don't get me wrong. Now, Savinho playing 45, Foden with 45 as well, really, really good. Haaland playing 44, and obviously reason being he was injured for us a level period of time. But that being said, in terms of total number of goals, obviously Erling Haaland tops the lot. But from 31 goals all the way to 10 to the next player, Phil Foden. And obviously Marmoush, 22, 8. It probably could have gone to like 16 if you played 40 plus games as well. This to me is a worrying sign, as I mentioned, where we're not good enough offensively and defensively either. Definitely not. If, as I said, to just rely on Erling Haaland is really not going to be the answer. We need to change something in the sense of we need to get in better forward reinforcement, because again, Marmoush, I'm sure he's going to do well next season. I'm quite certain about it. If he's going to carry on this form forward, but it's still crucial for us to understand that we still need a player that can really score goals. We need some players to really score goals from us, and this is not the answer to just rely on Erling Haaland. Yeah, I mean, Kevin De Bruyne's last season with us, 39 appearances in total, 6 goals. Not too bad if you ask me. Had quite a decent number of assists as well. So I'm really, really pleased, as of course, with Kevin De Bruyne as always. But of course, now he's going to leave. So unfortunately, that really is it for him with us. It's a shame, but as I mentioned, we can't really do much about it. Now looking at the goals and the assists, now arguably Nunes had the joint most assists with Savinho. So I'm surprised at that, because Nunes just has been very interesting this season. But again, he might be okay next season, because I think he's playing a left back, bro. So this is why we're happy Aïnouri's come in, because I'm genuinely not too sure how good Aïnouri is, but based on Wolves, he's done really, really well there. So I'm not sure he's able to carry that form into the team. But for Nunes, who's played left back for most of the time, but he's clearly not a left back. He's honestly defensively not the best. Defensive work rate is not really, really that good either. He's made quite a number of mistakes. But nonetheless, 10 assists. Okay, sure, but to imagine that's the highest, ooh, I'm also a bit concerned. But yeah, Kevin De Bruyne with 8 assists, sorry, to wrap off the season. Not too bad from him either. But I think that will be it. I mean, disciplinary record, I think we will finally accept that. Very one red card, I think, from Mateo Kovacic. That's pretty much it. But otherwise, I think the season, that's it really. Hat tricks, couldn't really care much about that. Player of the month, not really my concern either. But that will be it for, a general outlook of how the season has panned out. As I mentioned, right, we need to be a lot better next season. Hopefully, the Club World Cup will be the start of something special again from us. Yeah, but that being said, that is the end of this one. I think I've been rambling on for quite a while now, probably about 30 odd minutes here. But yeah, that being said, I'm looking forward to next season, of course. As I said, there will be some level plans ahead. We'll see what happens then. Everything's still in the works. But that being said, the season obviously come to a close for Man City. Yeah, I'm looking forward to see what transfers they're going to make, as I mentioned, and hopefully Club World Cup will be very positive. And then hopefully when I start making my predictions, it will be a very positive outlook as well. But yeah, drop a like on the video guys have enjoyed this one, and of course subscribe if you're new. I'll see you guys next time. Let me know in the comments down below how you guys felt Man City performing this season. I know they've underperformed clearly from the past 4 seasons, but with that being said, has it really been a bad season for them? I think that's something that we need to consider. In my opinion, it's really not the worst. I think I've seen worse during my time of the 10 years I've supported them. So yes, we've had a lot of glory, but that being said, there are some seasons I think we've done a lot worse. But with that being said, I'm still really pleased, with the club, the success they've had during the time supporting them. So I still love the club, as I've said, and we'll still love them forever, to be honest, even if we do get relegated thanks to the Chargers. But I have no answer and no say on that one yet. So, but yeah, drop a like. I'll see you guys next time. Until then, goodbye.